Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Hermanson. I know it might seem cheesy or cliche, but if you've got a sleeping giant inside of you, or you just feel like you're made for more, then there's no coincidence you landed here on the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. Listen, as a girl from small town Wisconsin who decided to go all in to her dream life vision, I know how crazy it can feel to chase after wild ideas. Since leaving my 9-to-5 job in academics back in 2015 to becoming a yoga teacher, a life coach, and now a digital nomad, currently living in Merida, Mexico with my husband and Labradoodle, I know that all the cheesy cliches are true. I've watched a lot of my dream life become my real life right in front of my eyes. Oh, and I've learned a whole lot about sales, business, and marketing along the way, and I want to share all of that with you. So here, you can consider me your friend and mentor. As a certified business coach, success trainer, international speaker, author, and copywriter, I've helped hundreds of coaches and entrepreneurs build, scale, and enjoy their online businesses. So here on the show, you'll find the real people, concrete tactics, and weekly motivation and inspiration to make your dream life your real life. I'm going to let you into the nooks and crannies of these dream lives and dream businesses and offer lots of real talk along the way. Because to be a true leader in whatever you're endeavoring in your life and to create a legacy that you're proud of, you need a tribe lifting you up with you on the journey. And I've made it my mission to be that partner with you. Because after all, we are all in this together. By the way, if you'd like some help improving your business and life, then we just might be able to help. Head on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com to learn more about what we do and how I might be able to personally support you and just continue this conversation in making your dream life your real life. All right, let's get to it. Welcome back. Today, we are hanging out with Yvonne Aileen, who is a multipreneur, relentless researcher, and author of nonfiction books that are all designed to improve lives. In fact, her first book, How to Buy a House, Vital Real Estate Strategy for the First-Time Homebuyer, was based on her 2 decades as a real estate broker. Then, Goddesses Don't Diet, The Girlfriend's Guide to Intermittent Fasting, is the outcome of several years of intermittent fasting research for weight control, disease prevention, and age reversal. And coming new this year, her third book, Transforming Trauma, is inspiring stories and powerful tools to manifest peace, hope, and healing, which has been widely celebrated by some of our friends, including Christy Whitman, who has been on the show here. And that book will be published in May 2022. And as a massive wealth of knowledge, she's here to hang out with us today and talk all things dream life.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I love how we seem to have something in common where that when we learn something and we're passionate about it, we have to tell everyone. You write books, me posting to Instagram or, doing this podcast. And I'm curious if that's always been, something for you, if you've kind of been that learner and teacher throughout your life, or if there was something that caused that in you.
Well, I'm a Gemini and we're very expressive. So we have to, and I have Sagittarius rising. And I know you're a Sagittarian. So
I'm Sagittarius with Gemini rising. And I'm just
getting
to learn about that house. And I'm getting all into the astrology apps. So
that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So we don't keep secrets to ourselves, especially if it's good news. If it's something that I know is going to help someone, I cannot help but tell them about it. And I've been a real estate broker for 20 years and I really want to get more into publishing. That's been my passion forever. My master's in writing. And so, but I kind of fell into real estate by doing a newsletter for real estate agents and selling that on the web. So a friend of mine, I tried to take it national and it wasn't doing well. And a friend of mine said, well, you should just get your license. So that's how I got into it in 2003. And I kind of got stuck in real estate for a while, but I love helping people. And one thing I've noticed, especially with buyers and especially in this market, is there just isn't, they need all the help they can get. And there's a lot of naivety for first-time home buyers. So that's how I ended up writing my first book. I just had all of this knowledge up in my head, and I had to get it out on paper because I can only reach so many people, individually serving them as a broker. And so I wrote a book. I say that's my first book. Really, I wrote a book back in 2010 after watching The Secret. I know your husband's been a middle school teacher. And after watching The Secret, I had boys in middle school at that time. And I thought, I wish I'd known this in middle school. So I wanted to develop a course for middle school students called I Can Do Anything seminars. I wanted to teach them that they could, open up the vision of what's possible in their life. And then I thought, well, how can I teach this course? I don't really have experience working with middle schoolers. So I decided to write the book as sort of my business card. And the book is called Mom and Dad, Can I Have the Secrets to the Universe? Growing Amazing Lives Through Inspirational Parenting. So I published that, but I knew nothing about marketing books at that time. And it just sort of died on the vine. And so it was another 10 years before I got back into publishing. And I did it. I helped a friend who was a Unity minister. She was getting ready to celebrate her 90th birthday. She had a spiritual blog called Evolving Spiritual Ministries. It's still online. And I said, for your birthday present, let me turn your blog into a book. And so I went in and I combed through 7 years of blog entries, and I pulled out and I categorized and edited and I turned it into a book for them. I had to relearn publishing all over again. And her book is called Proceed as Way Opens, which after, this was during the pandemic that I helped her do this. And I helped her get it published. We launched it on Amazon. And people love that book. And then I realized that she was actually, I thought it was a gift for her, but actually ended up being a gift for me because it got me into publishing again. And I took the title Proceed as Way Opens as kind of my message from her. She died as a published author. She passed about 3 months after the book was published, but she was a published author at that time. And it meant a lot to her. And now her wisdom will keep living on. So,
Well, that's such a great note to land on with the legacy piece of what a book can do for a lot of people. True. I talk to people all the time who want to write a book and they'll do it someday, or they've been sitting on it for 8 years, or they have this idea, or when they retire. And I published on Amazon a book when I was 25 about what I had learned so far, up until then. And I've done some guest chapters in other books, and people are always like, wow, that's so brave, or how did you do that? And I didn't think of it as a legacy piece. I thought of it as a marketing tool. So I think it's interesting, everyone has a different why when it comes to certain things.
Sure.
But I'd love to maybe zero in on one of your books, maybe the real estate book, and think about how that impacted your business, either at the time or in the long run, because I'm hearing more and more conversation about entrepreneurs and coaches toying with the idea of writing a book. Yes, because it's going to feel good and help the masses and support the legacy that they want to create, but also because it sets them apart in the marketplace as someone who's more credible, has more expertise than, the coaches that are just dancing on TikTok talking about real estate and weight loss and all the other things they know about. So what did you see happen after you published that real estate book in your real estate business?
Well, I did get a couple of new clients from it, buyer clients. I haven't leveraged it as much as I could. I mostly wrote the book just so that I could touch buyers who weren't in my local market and give them the information they need. Because right now we have the lowest inventory ever on the market. Buyers are just, I think 6 months of inventory is like a balanced market, which means neither the buyer nor the seller has negotiating power. They're both kind of even Steven. Right now we have less than 1 month inventory on the market. So it's very strong seller's market. So buyers need just all the help they can get. And like I said, I can't be everywhere at once. So I wanted to do the book for people outside of my market. And I had decided very specifically that I want publishing to be my future. So I'm writing these books, unlike a lot of your audience, I believe, who are coaches, and they're going to use this book as sort of a springboard to sell like seminars and coaching services and things like that. I am really just strictly about the book sales. And I actually am going to a seminar in November called 20 Books to 50K. And the idea is if you can get 20 books out there, you can be making 50K a year and sort of replace your job. I hope to be doing much better than that. But
heck, look at Nora Roberts. I mean, she's got 100 books and she is a wealthy woman. So the model can work, right?
It definitely.
Jack Canfield as well, who you kind of.
Oh yes, I noticed you have a testimonial from Jack Canfield on your site. I can't believe that's not on your first page of your website. That's pretty fantastic. How Jack Canfield.
I have to be honest, Yvonne, most of our, you know who Jack Canfield is, but he's starting to know a market of folks who don't really know me. There's a little bit of a disconnect between Jack Canfield and digital nomading, but I'm so glad it resonates because he's a gem, and people who know him are my people. So
well, thank you for saying that. I mean, absolutely. He's one of my heroes for sure. But a couple of thoughts. One is that this book I wrote for the middle schoolers was based on The Secret. I wanted to teach them the secrets from The Secret, right? Everything that I'd learned that I wish I had known in middle school. And now I'm working on I've got a chapter in the trauma book, which is all of the authors, except I think the only person that's not is Christy. They were all in The Secret. And so it's almost like it's come full circle. The other thing is, unfortunately, I think that fewer people are reading actual books anymore. And so part of what I think I bring is that I am, like you said in my intro, a voracious researcher. So I basically you should have seen my stack for the Goddesses Don't Diet book. I had 40 books that I checked out and went through and distilled information. And then I checked a lot of online sources. Plus I had my own personal experience, and I did before and after lab results in my book, and a journal of a 14-day fast that I went on, showed them, how I was feeling, what I was doing, and what my before and after lab results were. I kind of feel like for the people that don't like to read, if they just read my one book in whatever topic I'm writing on, they're going to have read 40 books because I'm going to be pulling out everything. They say you borrow from one author and you're a plagiarizer. You borrow from 3 authors and you're a researcher. And so I am definitely a researcher because I mean, truly 40 is no exaggeration at all. I dig in. So.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I'm a writer as well. We do copywriting for coaches, social media and email and websites and things like that. And I really had a hard time at the beginning deciphering, am I copying? Because I have this whole, it's called word porn of things that I like or things that I get inspiration from. So some people call that a swipe file, but I go and I see phrases or template, kind of the structure of things that they use. And it's am I cheating or copying? Yeah. Now I'm at the point where I feel like I've really kind of created my own style, but this is how we learn, right? We model the examples. We're all standing on the shoulders of each other, right?
Right.
If when I met Jack Canfield and started working with him, he's got the 60 principles. What am I doing trying to reteach it? Well, the truth is because there are people who resonate with me when it comes to, asking it is given and all of these things that other people have said. And I think this is really great permission for people who are thinking that book's already been written. There are already people coaching on that. So how do you help yourself or people that you mentor in this, find that or understand that there is a need, even if their idea has been tossed around before?
Well, my goddess series of books, so Goddesses Don't Diet is the first one. And then I've got 2 more coming out this year. One is called Goddesses Are Ageless, and the other one is called Goddesses Stay Sexy. And so all of the subtitles are The Girlfriend's Guide to X. For instance, with Goddesses Don't Diet, it's The Girlfriend's Guide to Intermittent Fasting. With Goddesses Stay Sexy, it's The Girlfriend's Guide to Dating, Relationships, and Sexual Health. So I basically take what's out there and turn it into accessible, engaging, usable information that's on a personal level. I'm talking directly to the reader. I know who you are. I am you. We've all been through this. And so that's how I approach it. Now, everyone's going to have their own approach, but if you're authentic with the reader and you share from your own experience, then, I think that you're doing a great service. And there's no way that anyone could write the book that I've wrote. And there's no way. And I'm definitely not going to be writing the way like, for instance, Goddesses Are Ageless. Dr. Christy Northrup has a book out called Goddesses Never Age. And my brother said, oh, you can't call yours that because she has this out. And I'm like, they are completely different books. I have read her book. They're completely different books. It's a completely different approach. And so I basically went to the biology of aging and what it takes to reverse aging and why sleep is important, why nutrition is important, why detox is important. And Dr. Christine Northrup's book is great, but it's a little bit more on the woo-woo, less on the practical side of it. So.
Yeah, one of my most popular Instagram posts, I kind of think of, honestly, content that I create is like, will this be a chapter someday? Because I'm always kind of future pacing and I see a big vision for what we're working on right now. But one of the posts that I shared on Instagram that got a lot of conversation, and by the way, listeners, when I say popular, I mean got conversation. I'm not talking about reshares or likes. These are the analytics I care about. People were talking about with me is something along the lines of people can steal your sauce, but it will never taste the same. Because a lot of coaches feel this way too, of like, oh, they called their thing the Magic Money Program, and we're all kind of teaching similar things. And we do this with programs too, where we learn something from someone else and we bring it into our program. And with the rise in A, consciousness, and B, the coaching community, there's a lot of like, who said it first kind of conversation. Sure. And here's my take on it. Like, this isn't even where our energy should be. If we are worried about what everyone else said and who pointing fingers and all of that, like, you are missing everything else you could be focused on. And it sounds like that's the approach you've taken of like, yeah, this is my idea. These are the books I'm focusing on. I'm doing it. Then your brother, like, I'm just amazed. What a like involved brother to know that, to know there's another book with that word in it. But if we really stay focused on our vision and our zone of genius, that is where we create new and where we create things that people need. And I'm curious, because it sounds like you've really followed that. You go from real estate to health and wellness to now like law of attraction. You got middle schoolers in the middle. Like, it sounds like you've really kind of stayed focused on your zone of genius. And I'd love to hear how that's gone for you, or if you feel yourself chasing shiny objects or losing the vision, how do you bring yourself back to like, this is true of Yvonne in this era, and this is where I'm going?
Well, I am a big believer in go where the energy flows. So in the middle of one of my books, I might think of an idea for another book, and it's like really hard for me to stop and, to not stop and start working on that. I have probably 5 books in my mind that I'm ready to do, in addition to these 2 that I've got here. Like, I want to do one on budgeting. I want to do creating a beautiful home life. And then I want to do a book on internal, I don't know if you know about Ira Progoff, that he does intuitive journaling, where you're actually having a conversation with someone in your journaling. You do your name, and then I want to do a book about that because I want to make it more accessible, because his program is really involved, very complex and very wonderful, but it's just not something that I think most people are going to be willing to do. So I've got a book coming up on that one too. So I do feel that if someone once said, an interior designer said, if you love something, it's going to go with whatever you've got in your house because you love it. And I think that's very true with your writing too. If you really are passionate about it and you love it, that's going to come through, and it's all going to sort of blend together in this beautiful whole. I do feel like my real estate book was sort of a departure. But I also feel like I had to get that out of my system in order to do this other, because it's been part of my career for so long, and I wanted to get it out there so people were taken care of in that department. Okay, here's the book. Don't ask me any more questions. Here's all you need to know about buying a house. And now I can focus on what I really want to do. But that book's been doing extremely well. So I'm very happy to have done it.
Okay, you are like living and breathing personal branding for me right now. All I can like hear in my head is like, he's talking about personal branding, because I have this conversation with clients all the time who are really focused on their one thing. And I think that's important for a era of your business where you're just trying to get momentum. You're focused on one thing, and that's all you should be talking about and enrolling people into. But what they forget about is that we are multidimensional beings. And if all you do is show up and talk about my 8-week program, like no one cares. Sorry. Like it falls flat because we need more. And that's why I work with clients, like bring in personal brand. And like you're saying, I love that. Like if you love it, if it's true for you, it will fit in a package. I think we have this idea that people are on the other side of the computer screen being like, is Hannah wearing lipstick today? I didn't think she liked lipstick. And now I'm like, no, because now she has a new offer. I thought she was a coach. Now she's writing. Like, what is she thinking? Like, no one is watching us that closely. And we think that they're like so confused by things that we do. But I think books are a beautiful place to showcase a lot. And social media gives us a daily opportunity to showcase chapters of our life, things that we enjoy, and start to build this holistic picture of ourselves so that people understand we're more than just like a talking head with an 8-week program. So I had to just get that little sound bite in there, because I think this is so parallel what you're saying in the publishing world to the personal branding world. So
yes.
Shifting gears, if that's okay, because I feel like there's a burning question that listeners are going to be like, tell us, Yvonne, how do we publish?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, you felt it. Tell us about it.
First of all, the easiest part ever is writing your book. And I know people don't want to hear that, especially if they don't write. That is the absolute easiest part of getting your book published, is writing the book. So you got to do that first. It has to be something you're passionate about, that you know something about and you're willing to learn more about, and, write the darn book. You're not going to be able to publish a book until you write the book. So there are plenty of writing coaches out there. If writing isn't your thing, you could maybe speak into a tape recorder, or just record yourself, your notes, and then have somebody type them up for you and edit them for you. You absolutely need a great editor, no doubt about it. People cannot edit their own stuff. The first book I wrote, the house book, I had an audio, I turned it into an audiobook. Most of my books are also audiobooks. So the audio voicer, the narrator gal, she sent it back to me and said, you need to have this proofread. And I'd had a couple of people look at it, but she said, I'm not going to look at this anymore. I'm not supposed to correct your stuff. Get it done. She was very professional, incredibly professional. And I was embarrassed. I was mortified. So I put it through a professional editor, and I'm a writer. I mean, that's what I do. I edit other people's stuff, but you can't edit your own work. So get an editor. Also get a professional cover designer. Super important. And then another thing you need to do is you need to get reviews. If you're going to be on Amazon, and Amazon is 80+% of the book business right now. I don't love that, but they are. I don't love big conglomerates. I'd much rather not have to go through Amazon, but you do. You have to be on Amazon. If you're going to be on Amazon at all, you've got to get reviews. So get advanced reviews. Get a street team, get your people together and hand them out a copy of your PDF, and then ask them to review it the minute it goes online, and tell them in the review to be honest, and also say that they got an advanced review copy. That'll keep Amazon happy, because they don't want people just, tit for tat kind of thing on reviews. They don't want that. So, and you need to decide whether you're going to go wide, and going wide means going beyond Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP on Amazon, going to Barnes & Noble, going to Ingram Spark, perhaps, getting another book distributor out there. If you stay on KDP and just go exclusive, there are some things you can do that you can't do if you go wide. They'll allow you to do certain discounts, certain sales, certain promos, and then you can also be part of their borrowing thing. It's Kindle Select, where people can borrow your book, and then they don't pay anything. They pay a subscription, and then you get a little bit of money for each page read. And so some people make a ton of money doing that. So I would say find out everything you can about Amazon and Kindle Direct Publishing. And also, if you want to be on Audible, have it professionally narrated. You need somebody who really knows what they're doing. Don't try to do it yourself, especially if you don't have experience in that. And then I would say probably on Audible is one place where I would say go exclusive on Audible. And I hate to say it because I didn't with my last book. And what happens is they'll give you promo codes. If you go exclusive with Audible, they give you 25 promo codes per market. You can get up to 50 total if you use them all. And you give people those promo codes and then they will review for you. And you can, in that case, you can send it to all your best friends. Your mother can review for you. It doesn't matter. Audible doesn't care at this point. They don't care. Amazon does. They're going to look and check, make sure that you're not cheating with reviews. Yeah. It'll get you banned. People have been completely banned from Amazon for doing things like that. So you should be super careful. They have pretty arbitrary guidelines, and if you mess up, you're out. That's all there is to it. There goes 80% of your book sales right there. Wow. So.
All right, friend, that is a nugget to pause, rewind, go get your notebook and set aside some time, because Yvonne just broke down exactly how you can get your book into the world. And I want to go back to what you said at the beginning of that beautiful soundbite, Yvonne, which is the book is the easiest thing. Like, you can write a book. This is what I did with my first book. I looked at blog posts I had written, emails I had written, trainings I had given, and it kind of wrote itself, right? Yeah. I think so many coaches can look in their program, can look in their emails, can look at the content that they're putting out, kind of as I hinted to, and start to think about what are chapters? What are the pillars? I was just talking to a coaching client who, in doing this, realized there's another program, because she kind of distilled these 8 pillars in reviewing. And I think it's actually like a really healthy, every couple of years thing to do for building that legacy around your work and getting it into the hands of people who are on Amazon or don't know about you yet and need this information. I'm super inspired, and I want to just go time block and go write another book.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the one that you have coming out right about now, May 2022. Your latest book is coming out too. You've already had people review it, it sounds like, and getting some great feedback. But tell us a little bit about what we can expect when we grab your latest book.
Okay, so the one I'm working on right now, that's my own book, not the book collaboration. I've actually got 2 collaborations coming up as well. But the one I'm working on right now is called Goddesses Are Ageless, The Girlfriend's Guide to Health, Happiness, and Vitality. And it's all about living a longer health span. Now, that will include a lifespan, but a lot of people say, I don't want to live to be 100, because I think what a 100-year-old person looks like and feels like, and is in like a nursing home or whatever. It doesn't have to be like that. You can remain vital and healthy and active and vibrant, and it's through a very much longer health span. By just doing some simple things, lifestyle changes, making changes to your diet, exercise, intermittent fasting. I'm a huge believer in that. I'm sorry if some people are triggered by that word, fasting. It just means scheduled eating, and it just means delaying when you eat and making sure that sleep time that you have is actually extended a bit more, where your body is repairing itself. So but do you know what the single most important thing is for longevity and good health? What would you guess? I'll give you 3 guesses. What?
Joy, like passion, something about feeling like you love what you do and you're inspired.
I would say that was pretty darn close. I would probably give you credit for that.
Okay.
It's connectedness. It's your relationships. It's deep connectedness. And Duke University did a study, and they found that if you have 4 close relationships, that can include your spouse, but 4 close relationships, that's the max that you need. Any more is great, but that will optimize your longevity and your good health and your disease prevention. And you can stack connectedness up against obesity and heart disease and smoking, and connectedness will cancel out all of that. in terms of, it doesn't mean you should live a crappy life, right? But if you don't have connectedness, if you're lonely, if you're isolated, you're doing yourself any favors by taking care of yourself all that other way. I mean, you are obviously, but
so you're telling me the wine night I'm about to attend tonight is good for mental health, right?
It's absolutely hugely important. Yeah.
Well, I also sighed some relief when you said 4 people, because I was like already overwhelming myself as a self-proclaimed introvert and like someone who recharges alone. Like, I'm glad that it's about the quality of connectedness, the depth and focus. Even two are better than 100 sort of, superficial relationships. It's the closeness that matters. Yeah. Well, and that really underscores in some ways what you're talking about when it comes to the success of a book. You need people, real people connected to you to help you write a review, get it out into the world, promote it. And this is something I feel like I've repeated so many times on the show, but I'm not going to let this opportunity pass to remind myself and listeners that marketing is about connecting with real people. Writing a book is about getting it into real people's hands. And as much as I know you want to hear algorithm and hashtag and shiny object marketing tactics, that's just not what I'm going to teach you here. That's just not what we're talking about, because like Yvonne is demonstrating, decades in building businesses, the same through line always shows up, and that is relationships and connectedness. And now it will also help you live longer. So
yeah,
there we go.
And it's also about authenticity. Like when I first got into publishing, I took a 6-week course from these, I call them the twin testosteronodons, because they were total macho, like go hit it heavy, do this, get the lead.
I like to call them bro marketers.
They were total bro marketers. And I tried to do what they were suggesting, but it just didn't ring true to me. And I knew you can't sustain something that doesn't feel authentic. So each person has to find their own way to connect. Like, how are you going to connect? One of the ways I'm connecting is through my publishing house. I decided to create my own publishing house called 800 Muses. And I'm gathering women authors. So if any of your listeners are women authors, and I am specific to women, I'm sorry, guys, they can get on my page called Meet the Muses at 800muses.com and just go to Meet the Muses. And I would be happy to send a link to their book, a little bio of them. I just need their headshot, and they won't be on any list, not from me anyway. And it's just my way of giving back and creating synergy around publishing.
Beautiful. I am all about this. And I think this is a perfect way to send the listeners out into action. So is 800muses.com the best place for them to get connected with you, take that action, and continue the conversation?
Yep, that will work.
Amazing.
And we do want to get 800 out there. So right now I think we've got 12. We need a few more.
And if you're listening, it's the number 800.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we'll make sure we have links to 800 Muses so we can get more of you over there and your message and your brand and all the good things you have to share out into the world with real people. Yvonne, this has been a delight. I really appreciate you and your energy. And listeners, I'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help you make your dream life and business your real life. And don't forget to hop on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show for specific goodies that we talked about today and access to continue the conversation with these guests as well as myself. I cannot wait to see what you create. Until next time.